Hi, my name is Miranda Fergus, and this is a presentation on emotional literacy. I chose to do emotional literacy over the other literacies because I work right now with emotionally disturbed people, so it's something that felt really close to me, and I really wanted to look into it further. So we'll start on the left-hand side with a definition of emotional literacy. Emotional literacy is the ability to understand and express feelings. It is the ability to be self aware of one's own feelings and know how to control them. Emotional literacy also includes being able to recognize other people's feelings and respond appropriately. Over here, we have a scientific explanation of emotional literacy, and that is that emotions are a chemical in the form of neurotransmitters that provide data to the brain, and emotional literacy is the ability to interpret that data. I do have a video here that briefly explains the scientific explanation behind emotions.
So emotions are neurohormones, and they're basically these long chains of amino acid. And they're produced primarily in your brain, but they're also produced everywhere in your body. And it's kind of cool because we have this capacity to make these little chains. And sometimes they're described like locks and keys. So like these little keys that are traveling around our body, they're produced everywhere in our body, a lot in our heart, around our heart, in our guts, in our spine, and everywhere else. And in our brains, they're primarily produced in the hippocampus, and they're released through the pituitary gland into the bloodstream. And these little chemicals go everywhere into our body. They go through the capillaries, and then they affect every living cell in the human body. So, in a sense, we have a nervous system which carries information along these long branching neurons. And then we have this chemical information system and these neurohormones are working on our brains, working on our bodies. They're regulating the way our organism works, and they're giving us signals. And it's not just from here to here, but it's this feedback system. And actually, it's not just within ourselves because we're highly attuned to these emotional signals from others. So this chemical information system, these little neurohormones, they're carrying information and energy, and they help regulate our system. And that's what emotions do.
So I thought that just really gave a little bit of a background about emotions. And once you know the background, then you can move on to learn how to learn emotions and emotional literacy. The importance of emotional literacy is really important at a young age because children need to understand and control their own emotions in order to behave, mature, and make connections in relationships. And these are all things that are eventually going to make them happy. And in loose terms, that's pretty much the description of my job, is teaching people how to recognize and control their own emotions so that they can be functioning members in mainstream school districts. The next topic is different activities you can do for emotional literacy. There are many activities that children can do to enhance this literacy, and there's also a lot of things that adults and professionals can do to help children advance with emotional literacy. Some of those include encouraging children to identify their emotions, like I am feeling sad, or I'm happy, or it makes me angry when you do this. Another thing for adults to do is create situations where children can have possible or positive social interactions, and then of course modeling good social behavior. So some activities in order to enhance emotional literacy. One is through photos and storytelling. Showing kids photos or people photos or telling them a story and then asking the student how they think the person in the photo or video feels. There's also flashcards that you can use or to show emotions. You show them an emotion and then they can tell you what it means. And you can do any of these with like books, movies, short films, historical photos, and just being able to look at something and recognize how that person is feeling and why they may be feeling what they're feeling. Another thing is play therapy, which is a form of therapy where the child and a licensed professional explore their emotions through play and storytelling. This can help enable the child to learn more about their thoughts and feelings and also increase their emotional intelligence because they're learning at their own pace, and usually doing something that they like to do. Another activity would be emotional charades, where you could even use the same deck of cards like I mentioned before with the different emotions on them, and have one student act out the emotions and other students guess. This is good because the student who's acting out has to really show those emotions and understand what they are, and then the students that are guessing can or have to recognize it on someone else, which are the two different parts of emotional literacy. And the last thing is a feeling collage. And I think this is really cool for students who are like hands-on and like to do arts and crafts. You can give them a bunch of photos and magazines and everything. And then the students can go and pick out things that would fit under angry. So whether they find people or animals or even things that make them angry, and then make a little angry collage and do that for however many emotions you would like to do it for. The next section is projects that I did myself. I did 2 projects. The first activity is an emotional poster that you can use like magnets on to identify your emotions. It's something pretty simple, and there's a lot of things that are made like this before, but I think that students are more apt to use it if they made it themselves. So this is a pretty simple one with 9 different emotions. And I actually made it for work so that they can put it up on the doors at work and then put a magnet over how they're feeling today. So whether they're feeling sad, happy, scared. And then I also added in this stoplight that gives you different tips on how to use coping skills and what to do depending on what stage you're at. So at the go says I'm doing a good job listening and following directions. A lot of times when students are in a happy mood or a good mood, they are just doing a good job. Slow down maybe means you need to take a minute to yourself, really stop, assess how you're feeling. And then red is, oh no, it's time to pull over and maybe take a time out or a time away if you're feeling really upset or angry. This gives you the opportunity to return to baseline and to maybe speak to an adult. So it's important to recognize when you're feeling upset and when you're feeling like you might need a break. The next project I thought was really interesting, and it's a little bit more advanced, whereas the last project can be for younger kids. And both of these projects are kind of artsy because my concentration is art. I'm going to be an art teacher, so sorry I didn't include that earlier. But the prompt for this project was to think about social issues and then make a perfect, like, utopian society. So the students were given plenty of different materials that they can make their society out of. I really like this because it gets students to be in tune with things that they might be upset about or they might not like, and then also make their perfect little world where they have everything their way and exactly how they would like it. So it both helps them think about things they're struggling with and kind of like the goal maybe of what they would want life to be like. So on the left there, this boy just likes to be outside. He likes nature. kind of likes to do his own thing, and his perfect society is a very relaxing time, like outside by the river, not too much going on. And this is coming from someone who always has a lot going on, is always go, 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 and he really just was able to say, you know what, sometimes I just want to slow down and I don't really want to do much. And then the one on the right has so much going on, kind of the opposite of the boy on the left. He loves to do crafts. He likes nature. He likes to play with toys. He's included dinosaurs. He loves doing crafts. So he's included some different things with model magic and tinfoil. And I feel as though this project was really interesting to explore emotions and how you're feeling about maybe a situation in life or life in general for all different ages. And it definitely can be varied on who you're working with. And lastly, here is my page with all of my references. I will definitely post the Prezi on itself so that you can go through at your own pace if you want to / don't have time to look through this video. But I hope you all enjoyed it.